And button mastering Super Smash Brothers, Lucas.
I'm gonna kill you with my Master Chief!
There's no Master Chief in this game. You're
Master
just
Chief.
Captain Falcon with a laser gun.
Nope, I'm Master Chief and he's gonna kill you. Bubblegum Man's gonna die!
No, that's Kirby. Alright?
Bubblegum
No
Man.
sucking jokes.
Bubblegum Man.
No.
Oh!
No.
Digimon attack!
It's Pokemon! Never mind, whatever. I don't even care.
I got
don't
you.
care. No, you don't.
I got you.
I don't.
I got.
Hang on.
You just paused it. You
Yeah.
just paused it.
Yeah.
I was about to beat you finally. I was about to beat you finally.
Dude, it's time. You gotta start the show. Season 3 of the Rack Show is on right now.
I just don't know what to do. I'm gonna
Well,
get my glasses over here and take this water.
Just gonna sit down.
Clear my throat.
Yeah. We're gonna be super professional this season, right? We're gonna be super prepared. It's gonna be all great. It's gonna be fine.
You
right?
ready for this?
I don't know. I'm gonna try.
And go in.
Welcome to Season 3 of the Rack Show.
My name's Conrad.
No, I'm Conrad. You're Lucas.
My name's Conrad.
No,
People of Earth.
The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem.
This is Happy Teacup!
This is Albert Wesker.
I'm Hatchworth from Steam Powered Giraffe.
You're listening to The Rack Show on VoxVii.com.
Listen to Conrad and Lucas!
Take Geek Culture off the shelf and show it to you.
The spine from Steam Powered Giraffe says so.
Don't change the channel, 'cause I know where to find you, bud.
Hail to the king, baby.
You're gonna have to ease it in. We haven't done this in a while.
Giggity. Hello, everybody. My name is Conrad.
And my name is Lucas, and we're back from. Oh, hey.
Wait, which
This
that one?
camera?
This?
What?
We're a little out of practice.
We've never actually. We don't. This is new for us.
We don't do video very often, but from here on out, The Rack Show can be found on YouTube. On our YouTube channel, VoxVii.
Absolutely, and we have 3 cameras. We have this camera, we have
this
that camera, and we have
This
that
camera.
So,
Hi. We'll
so
introduce him in a minute.
Yeah,
First, the important
yes.
stuff. No,
Absolutely.
but hello. Thank you again for checking out The Rack Show, which you can actually check out on VoxVii.com, VoxVii.com. This is episode 1, season 3 of The Rack.
Season 3, man.
We made it 2 whole seasons.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah. We have some cool stuff. We have a new show. Right after this show, we'll be recording a new show called The Vox.
Yep, that's where we get all of the cast and crew from VoxVii, basically. We put them in front of a camera, and then we all just kind of shoot the breeze.
Talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun.
Which I don't even know if we know what we're talking about yet. We won't know until we actually turn the camera on and
Yeah.
start
But
talking.
I'm sure it'll be fascinating.
Oh,
We-
absolutely.
Absolutely.
How could it not be?
We have fascinating people we work with.
Yep.
If not fascinating, weird.
And incredibly fascinating guests.
Yeah,
at all
absolutely.
times.
How can we not? Come on.
Should we
Yeah,
introduce
yeah,
them? Or should
I think we
Or
should.
we should, because we should talk about what we've been doing.
Yes.
We should.
Because we've been gone since November.
Right after Youmacon X.
Conrad and I had decided that it was nice to take off the holiday season, spend it with family and friends, and
We put out one holiday episode.
we officialized becoming a company.
Just officialized. I think that's a word.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I made it up.
And recharge your batteries.
We recharged our batteries, and we
Got the creative juices flowing. We got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Stuff we can't talk about yet, but it's on the horizon.
and we had to figure out how to do this with all this video and lighting, and it's sort of crazy. We should take a picture of this and
No,
put it up.
no.
Like right here's the
From
shot.
this side?
Here's
No.
the shot.
No.
This is what it looks like right now. Because Corey or one of them are gonna put up a photo.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
He'll blur
It's
out the
happening.
photos.
I hope you're not shy, Lee, because this is
No.
this is gonna go all over the internet.
This is gonna be awesome. But yeah, so
the
Conrad and I
mystery.
took
Keep the mystery.
a few months off. We enjoyed ourselves. We played some Pathfinder.
We did, yeah. We
It was fun.
Lucas's first experience into the role-playing forte outside of conventions. So yeah,
Pop my D&D cherry.
it was a Pathfinder cherry.
My
but
Pathfinder
yeah.
cherry.
He was a ranger. I was a paladin.
It was okay. It didn't hurt so bad.
Yeah. I think in the right circumstances you'd do it again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I'm
I
super
enjoyed
addicted to it, so it's
No,
awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
Shout out to Rob. He was our GM, by the way. He was awesome.
Rob's great.
Yeah.
What else did we do?
We went all video.
We went all video. What else we do?
We played Pathfinder.
We did a lot of games. We've been doing the games yesterday.
Yep.
So we
Up at Second and Charles.
Second and
in
Charles.
Auburn Hills.
Right after Youmacon, we started this thing at Second and Charles in Auburn Hills, which is a used/new bookstore where you can sell your stuff back including tablets and video games. They have great retro games.
Yeah, you can either do it for money or you can do it for in-store credit, and they have all sorts of really cool everything, basically. Like, it's just a bunch of broad stroke geek stuff.
And every couple months, you can come see us, and we'll teach you, or we'll play board games with you, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
We're going to do the next one in May. May?
I want to say mid-May.
Mid-May? I think it's the beginning of May 9th.
It's the beginning.
Like that.
It's a national partnership that we're working with these people, and they're really cool. If you haven't had a chance, absolutely go check them out.
They're up by Great Lakes Crossing, right on the, what's that road? Starts with the B. Baldwin!
Yeah. We figured out Corey. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you'll be able to see more of Corey at the producers panel at Midwest Media Expo. We're actually going to put him in front of people and let him do some talking.
We let Corey pretend that he's the boss sometimes.
Sometimes. Usually it's when I'm tapping on the table and he wants to yell at me. Don't tap. You're gonna get us yelled at.
So what do you guys do at Second and Charles?
Second and Charles, we have a game day. It's pretty awesome. About once every couple months or so, and it'll be more so once the season's over with after November. We go there and we set up different games, various games, some of the newer stuff people might not be too familiar with, and we show them how to play it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I was there the whole day.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of my work schedule, I usually have to leave stuff early, but I make sure to at least make an appearance for a couple hours.
We had some great fans come in, play games with us.
Jomar and I taught a gentleman named Nick, and I believe Danielle, his wife, how to play zombie dice.
It was really great. I enjoyed it. So definitely come up and check us out. It usually starts at around 1 p.m.
Go to about 8, 9.
Yeah, it goes about to 8, and yeah, it's a fun time. So check it out. Like I said, see us at VoxVii.com/events.
VoxVii.com.
So we should introduce our guest. I think.
Absolutely, because he's been more than patient. Thank you very much, Lee Gaddies.
Gaddis.
Okay.
Gaddis.
Because it's Irish.
It's Irish.
Irish.
No, it's Scottish.
It's Scottish. It's something. We met you actually. Oh, by the way, gotta give a shout out to the Phoenix Cafe in Hazel Park, our home away from the convention scene, which you can get more information on. The Phoenix Cafe, hazelpark.com. It's where we met Lee a few months ago, I believe. You were here with the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League.
Yeah.
It was gaming or game league?
It's gaming league.
Okay, just making sure I said it correctly. And we kind of were ships passing in the night because I think you were just coming in and we were just about to get done doing some meeting. I know, we were actually playing Pathfinder.
You were playing Pathfinder, correct.
And
we bonded over miniatures.
Yeah, we're like, oh, hey, who's this really cool guy? And then you sat and you talked with us for a really long time, and it was really awesome. And we're like, we should have him on the show.
Absolutely.
And then we did. And now we're here, and that's the end of the story.
Okay, well, it's been
all right. Well, this has been a great show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
But you are very into the scene as far as geekdom, nerddom, hobbydom. I know that you owned actually the first cyber cafe in Detroit.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So after I graduated college at CCS, I got a job I got a degree in illustration and design, and I applied to a company called Darcy for an illustrator's job, and they hired me as an art director, and I was there for a very long time, but I realized that it wasn't as creatively fulfilling as I would like to be after 4 years of really intensive art school, and now I have this laid back, cushy job in a cubicle, making commercials for cars. But then there's only so much after so many years you can really say about cars.
Yeah.
And then I went to my boss and I said, there's this new product coming out called the PlayStation. We should really solicit advertising for it. I think video gaming is going to be huge, and we should jump in early and get advertising.
This was back in the late 90s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually early 90s.
Early 90s, okay.
Early to mid 90s. And I said, we really ought to do this, as a company to grow, because we have GM as a client, but the auto industry isn't going to be around forever, and this is a new emerging market. So we had a department called New Business. So I went into New Business and I told them my idea. I wrote out the pitch and I gave it to them, and they said, "Nah, we only do new business if it's auto." And that's when I said, these guys don't have a clue. They are used to doing the same thing that they're doing. They're going to keep doing this, and then when GM falls off a cliff, they're going to go right along with them. So I said, well, what can I do to take this new technology, because the GUI interface that just came out from DOS to Windows, and I said, we have a technology divide that's happening where people are learning computers, like people that are in my social group. We're all into it. We're geeks. We're into computers. We know it. But then you have other people who can really use this technology, and they're going to be left behind. So I said, I can combine two things I like to do: get together, play games, and education. And I combined those two into the Cyber Cafe. So the Cyber Cafe became the social hub where the technology was the draw, but people interacting with each other was the glue that held it all together.
Yeah, and this was the alpha-based cyber. Oh, I'm tapping. Sorry, I'm tapping. I tapped Corey. I did it. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, Alpha-based Cyber Cafe was the name of it. 1998 until 2002.
1997 to 2002.
Okay,
yeah.
I have 98 on here. Corey, again, throwing you under the bus. Anyway.
Yeah. So So that I guess your official opening was in '98. But the purpose of it was what I saw was a problem that you put people in a room by themselves playing a game. Human beings are inherently social animals.
Yeah.
So at some point,
Most of them,
unless you're a sociopath.
Hi, Will. Sorry. Anyway.
Right. So the inherent conflict is that we have a million years of social biology that has taught us to be social animals. Then we have the individual draw of sitting around playing a game that's imitating the social interaction that you're having, right? Because you still had dial-up mode back then. It wasn't even, but I was sitting on top of the T1 line, so I was in heaven, right? So coming down, people seeing how the internet should be used. High-speed internet, web page loading instantly, not waiting for the image to load, right? Yeah. So I saw all of this, as through this futurist vision of what it would be like, right? So I built the Cyber Cafe around those two bets, that people are constantly going to want to be around other people, even if they're alone in a room with a computer. They still want to be in a social environment, right? The best way to do that is give them a comfortable environment to be in, which is the coffee house with the couches, but also expose them to the technology. So I had, grandmothers and grandfathers coming up because their kids bought them a computer, they didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. So we would train them how to use it. People who had computers that didn't know how to use it, but didn't want to go through the manuals and read or anything, but they wanted somebody to show them, right? The human contact.
So this technology that could arguably be, while making the world a smaller place, kind of making it a more separate place, people sitting
isolated.
in their houses, isolated. Yeah, giving the illusion of community. What you're doing is using that draw to get people in one place
into a real community.
One thing, which is kind of what you're doing as well with the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League.
Right.
I know that one of the major things is that you want people to play games with board games and card games and other social face-to-face games with other people outside of kind of their friend base. You kind of want to expand their social sphere, right?
Yeah. And also, again, it's that same type of thing that I saw, because I trained, secretaries in Comerica. We had contracts with Comerica Bank and Bank of Detroit to do training of the secretaries, how to use, Windows 95 and all that kind of stuff when Word came out. So we were doing a lot of training, but the way we were making a lot of money was people would come in the evenings after class and they would play games. And they would play games for hours and hours and hours and stay there all night. And I'm like, wow, something is going on here.
What were they playing?
Like Half-Life, Counter-Strike at the time, Homeworld 2, Rainbow Six was another big one. Doom. EverQuest. Yeah, EverQuest got really huge, and that
was around World of Warcraft time as well.
Yeah. So what?
World of
Warcraft was after that.
Yeah, way after that.
EverQuest was the first one where people would be, and I didn't understand what was going on. All I saw was an avatar on a screen with a bunch of color swirls around them, and I didn't understand what was going on. So I would look at the screens. And I'm like, okay, so you're sitting here waiting for something to happen. And I don't, because in the other games you were playing, it was like you'd run in, you bust open a door, you run through a room, you shoot somebody, Well,
it was groundbreaking, just like how Minecraft was when we first saw it. It was just like, this is different.
Yeah.
This is something new.
Yeah.
And for 10 years before that, it was, we learned. Finally, when we got into the third-person view, we went obviously to the first-person shooter.
Yeah. Doom. I mean, we had people recreate their office environments. Matter of fact, we used Doom as a learning tool for team-building exercises for offices. So when I had office staff would come in and to teach them team-building skills, you would have to work as a team to go through a maze in Doom, but like one person would have to go across, flip the lever for the next person to go across. You know what I'm saying?
Were there custom levels? Were you doing?
Yeah, there were custom levels. We designed custom levels for people.
So you created cooperative custom gaming for these exercises?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for the team building exercises. Yeah. And corporate clients would, instead of going off to a retreat in the woods somewhere, it's the middle of winter, they would come indoors and do the same thing. We had all the computer set up. So that was some of the innovative work that we were doing. And to me, it was education, training, all of that kind of blended in at that. And so with the advent of I think now we have 20 years of that computer, kids growing up on the computer. Now they're, young adults. They are taking that same experience that they've had of being isolated on the computer, even though it's still there and they still play it when they want to do solo gaming. But the human soul needs to be around other human beings. You crave that interaction because it's something that's in our DNA. It's something that makes us human.
Yeah, we're hardwired that way.
We're hardwired that way, right? So what I do is that I allow, through the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League, is to broaden that experience, bringing more people in, and people can then get into the social interaction around the focus of gaming. Instead of being a cyber cafe and a computer, it's around a cafe and people, and the focus is the gaming. So whether you're a hardcore historical miniatures gamer or you're a casual cool or resistance player, that the range and spectrum is there in the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League.
So what events do you guys have done or are doing currently?
I just got back from, the first one we did this year, starting 2015 season, was Spartacon in Lansing, and that was historical miniatures. And to show you the range in this, they went from muskets and tomahawks with with the founding and pioneers of America, to the Revolutionary War, to the Civil War, to World War I, to World War II, and then off in the corner they had a game that was based on the Purple Gang in Detroit. So they had a game based on the Purple Gang doing crimes and the cops trying to figure out what the crimes were, and they had this whole model of Woodward set up, this whole table of Woodward set up, and you had the little 28 millimeter miniatures with the cars and everything from that era, from the 1920s and 30s on the table.
That sounds cool.
And
that sounds really cool.
Miniatures go back a long time. Charles Dickens actually wrote a rule book for using for
toy soldiers.
Toy soldiers. Yeah, it was one of his very big passions was miniature gaming.
Yeah, and so a lot of people were into miniature collecting, but the miniatures gaming has a really long history, and I think for our generation, it's just now, bubbling, to the surface.
Kind of become a really, really popular.
Yeah, a really popular thing. And one thing about millennials, they are, Generation X is a very small generation. Mm-hmm. Millennials are a huge generation, just like the baby boomers were. So the impact of just a few people in that cohort getting into that just amplifies, the magnitude of the people that are experiencing it. And I think through social media, through the internet, more people now are available. Because if I know about it, it's not just people in my neighborhood that I can talk to. I can talk to everybody in my social group through social media. So that amplifies the impact.
Yeah,
so
that ripple effect just goes out and out and out.
Out and out, right? So a lot of games that would have probably died or only stayed in Wisconsin or Seattle are now all over the world, because now everybody can experience it and you can order it directly online. So a lot of games that wouldn't have been made by Milton Bradley or Hasbro or any of those companies can now be made by these boutique shops that could cater to very specific markets of people, and I think Kickstarter has definitely, broken down the doors of the financial barriers that have been put in place.
And that goes beyond, and that goes beyond miniature gaming too. That goes for just board gaming, card gaming in general.
In general. As a matter of fact, it became so popular that they created a whole section on Kickstarter just for
specifically
gaming.
For that.
Yeah, because some of the most heavily funded projects on Kickstarter have been in the games industry. Exploding Kittens was the quickest funded, one of the most massively funded games. Right? Exploding Kittens. Who would have thought?
I don't even
right?
know.
Not the cure for cancer, right? It's Exploding Kittens. So I think that we are right now on the cusp of using games as a means to problem solve, right? You can go back to chess.
Well, we've always used games as a means to problem solve. I think what we're doing is we're in the beginning of the revolution of communal gaming again. Miniatures, board games, and there's a reason why we're in that. Previously to the millennium, there was these old rules of gaming that you would roll dice, you would use money, and there was a very simple
Monopoly
aspect.
model.
Yeah, the Monopoly model.
Yeah,
Monopoly, Uno,
Risk, Stratego.
There was usually a clear winner right away, and then but you still had to play out the game just for the sake of saying who won.
The Europeans are the ones that they threw out the old model and they sort of created a new model. Yeah. And the idea was that you never knew who the winner was until the end. There's a lot of you had an idea, like we played.
You keep the players engrossed until the very end.
And you always felt like you had a chance to win.
And there's always multiple ways to win too. There was
multiple ways to lose.
Yeah,
also.
Exactly.
And with that advent, people started playing games, and when games became good enough to go to Xbox Live, When Catan and Carcassonne came to Xbox Live, it opened up a whole new, and that's how I was reintroduced as I bought Catan online. Carcassonne was given to me for the 5-year anniversary.
Carcassonne was awesome, yeah.
For the 5-year anniversary, Xbox gave away Carcassonne, I believe. It was in November when it was the 5th year anniversary for Xbox Live, and I had those two, and I played them a lot. I was dating a girl at this time, and she liked to play Boulder Dash, which I can't stand in the old games. I'm like, you should check out Carcassonne, or you should check out this game that's on Xbox. She liked it. We went and bought the board games.
Right.
And the rest is history. I started finding all these other great games.
And you also brought up a point that they're not mutually exclusive. Even if you have, XCOM on your computer, you can still play XCOM the board game. If you play Warhammer on your computer, you can still play Warhammer the miniatures game. They're not mutually exclusive. People, just experience how you experience that is different.
The difference is there's such a high learning curve to get into some of the games. And even Catan, a person that just only played Monopoly, Catan's an undertaking when you first play it. We taught one of the new people how to play Catan yesterday, but once you know how to play it, it's like, oh, this makes sense all of a sudden. And you're like, I know how to win now.
So the computer becomes infinitely patient with your teacher, right?
Well, it becomes a tutor, there are little prompts and everything, like
and it won't yell at you.
Yeah.
And that's why you've seen a lot of games go from, like, we're going to create this app for your tablet or this program for your computer because you learn it there. One I bought you for Christmas that you love is
Talisman, which I was actually just going to bring up.
And we're probably going to go buy the board game.
Massive fan of this, and this is an old board game, right? It's been around for
since
a little bit.
Some of these games are just getting refreshed artwork, refreshed packaging, and they're being reintroduced to the market because people haven't experienced them in 20, 30 years.
And I think, in addition to being added to it, I know that the Highlands addition to the Talisman board game just came out on the Steam, which we play.
Okay.
But yeah, this game is an awesome game, and if someone didn't tell me, I would just say that somebody had created a board game as a video game.
Right.
Obviously I know better, but I could see why some people would think that.
Right.
And I think that's how a lot of these people are being introduced to these amazing board games that are coming from Europe, that are coming from indie, creators. Yeah. Like, they're actually getting out there in that way. So, in that sense, great. I love technology for that addition to it. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people in the same place, in the same room, meeting new people playing these games, and you're teaching them at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So we are able to open up people that live in the same area, they may not know each other, through social media, using technology, social media, to bring people together that have common interests. So each week we pick a couple of games that we're going to play. We announce that we're going to be playing them. We announce where we're going to be playing them at. And then if you're interested in that type of gaming, have at it. And so there's a couple of gaming clubs, where guys get together and say, okay, there's a new game coming out. The game for 2 players are $100, and then the expansion is $30, whatever. Everybody pitches in, or 2 people pitch in. They buy the starter box. Each one gets an army, and then if people like it after they play it, then the other people in the group then buy the expansions, and then they have their armies and they can play. And that's how a lot of people got into bolt action. Our friend Paul, who just won at Adepticon, he's a really big advocate of bolt action. He plays it, he puts on demos for everybody, and if you like it, then you can pick your army. I mean, any country you want to play from: Belgium, France, Romania, Germany, Italy.
And this is historic, or?
Yeah, it's historic. World War II. And so I liked it. I played it. It's something that you can play in an hour, 2 hours. You don't have to spend all day like other Panzer Leaders. I don't know if you have played historical war games, but some of them take a really long time to play. Yeah. But this game you can get in, you can play. I like the hobby part of it, of being able to paint the miniatures. I like the era of World War II. I'm a really big fan of that. Like, the movie Fury came out, and that kind of coincided when he was doing the demos. So I was all in. I'm like, oh, I can get a Sherman. Oh yeah, we're in. Let's do it, right? Going up against a Tiger. So that type of gaming. If you have somebody to
create
teach
the community.
Yeah, you create. He by having him there as a person, right? If I just got the game in a box and started to read the rules, I would have been lost.
Absolutely.
But by having another human being there as your tutorer that says, look, I'm going to demo this game. I'm going to show you the basic rules, and if you like the basic mechanics, then you can expand on it and you can go your own way with it.
Seth, there's an article. There's a bunch of articles that were wrote that the new millennials are the downfall of community. Because we create there's
an argument for it.
There's an argument. So what happened was that they said Facebook has created community and has filled it, and there was a point where it dipped. And there was. Data says there was a point where it dipped for us millennials, and there is like the Boy Scouts weren't getting people anymore. The Masons weren't getting people anymore. The Elks clubs. There was this drain on it.
Right.
But there's this book wrote by Seth Godin. He writes these genius books. I believe it was called Tribes.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not that it's dipping, it's that our ideas of what we want have changed.
And this goes back to Socrates.
So you see like Meetup. Meetup has become a really popular thing. We don't want to get around we want to be around different topics now.
Can I use your example?
Yeah.
You mentioned the Elk Club, Boy Scouts. These are 100-year-old institutions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right? The world is not
Many
the way it
generations,
was.
though.
Yeah, right. But the internet changed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
The internet changed all of that. The experience that you could get from the Boy Scouts, right, of going out to the woods, you can now just get with a group of people. It doesn't have to be a centralized entity that's doing it. So what's happened is that this new generation has utilized the tools that has been given them by the previous generation to do what they want to do. And because you don't buy into your father's institution does not make you worthless or antisocial.
No, not that. It's actually just easier to find people with your interests now.
Yes.
Because of the internet. And that's what the book goes on to say. It's just like, before, if I liked D&D or if I liked miniatures, it was hard to find those people.
You only had your school.
Exactly.
You could find the 5 or 6 nerds at your school.
But
You
now,
can go to the library and you can play D&D.
you can meet a person. If we're in Michigan, you can meet a person in California and meet up at a convention and have that conversation and play right there. And you've already known each other because of the internet.
And you know what?
We've created new, smaller tribes. It's not these big organizations anymore.
Now, what 100-year-old institutions are thriving because of that? Our library systems are thriving because of that. Because they become central meeting spots that are neutral, right? I don't have to come over to your house. You don't have to come over to mine. I don't have to put my underwear up off the floor. But we can meet at the library, which is always clean and is always available.
As long as the library can modernize. There are some libraries...
But they do. They adapt, right? As if your institution can adapt to what I want, why should I support your institution if it's not what I want?
I totally agree. There are some libraries that were slow to adapt, to update their services, and now
become relevant.
Exactly. And now a lot of it is that people didn't realize they wanted space. They just want a space to meet.
Right.
It's become our new town square.
Yeah. So should your library carry games? As well as books and videos, because they adapted to videos.
I absolutely...
When DVDs and VHS came out, you could get them in the library.
They adapted to video games. Rochester Library actually has a whole library of video games you can take out.
Hazel Park Library has games as well. Yeah.
Right. So these are... So
comics.
the library becomes an institution.
Yeah, and they have comic books, and now you have a meeting place. You like, I want to, if you're a member...
Young adult. I mean, would the library even be around if it was for the young adult section? Right?
I love the young adult section.
What? YA? So I think that an institution that will be relevant for a very long time, as long as it continues to adapt, will be our library system, because it's what it's always been, a place for people to gather and
congregate.
And exchange knowledge.
And Detroit actually, and this is crazy, Detroit has a great young adult program. I was a library
I wrote
clerk.
that system, the hype system.
I thought I recognized you. I think I've talked to you
I
before.
wrote that system in 1999.
They have a great system. Like they can learn a lot of different things. I believe they had a production. They had something with video that they were doing.
Yeah.
Because I remember being down there and talking. It might have been you when I think about it. You sort of look familiar. But back in the day when I was doing the film festivals, I would talk to Detroit Library, and they have that room that's right off the doors. That's pretty cool.
It's the hype room. That's
the hype room.
Yeah, I wrote all that outline was on paper, and that was a product of the Cyber Cafe that I had done 5 years before that.
I've talked to you before.
Yeah, so
I talked to you about the hype room, and I'm like, this is cool, and I was just too old to be a part of it.
Right, because you're 13 and you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're looking at is the same hardwired social congregation that we have, the tribal mentality that human beings have, but we are subcultures inside a subculture. So inside of the geek nerddom culture, you have gamers, you have video gamers, then you have board gamers, then you have war gamers. You know what I'm saying? So you can keep fracturing down until you get into very, very specific subcultures, right? So you have people who only want to play steampunk miniature skirmish games. Now you can find a million other people that want to do that.
Absolutely.
Now you can find people in your area that want to do that. Before it was just you inside of your gaming group that only wanted to do that.
And what Tribes poses that these large organizations are dying because we want smaller tribes.
Yeah.
Because we can find
or more
specific people with our specific wants.
I would call it more like specialization of hobbies, basically.
Yeah.
And now we can do that. We can be that specific with the advent of technology, with this renaissance of not just gaming, but
Geek culture
geek
in
culture
its whole.
in
Geek culture
general,
It's become a
you know?
great big thing. Everybody, it used to be a negative connotation.
Absolutely.
To be a geek or a nerd,
Yeah.
and now it's like the thing. It's geek chic.
We rule the world.
Why is that? That is because the people who were into comic books in the 70s are now old enough to be decision makers inside of Disney and Marvel and
I
other
think
companies.
I think it's part of it because
Right?
if it wasn't a money,
J.J. Abrams grew up with Star Wars.
because you have to
now he's directing
that
the
saying,
next
though,
Star Wars.
They run it all. What I think it came down to is that being interested in something had value again. Being interested in anything had value again. Computers
talk about value?
had value. I mean, before it was like
No, you
knew-
buying a computer had value, right? You using the computer when I got into it early on, it was a division between once I write a code for software and get paid for it, it doesn't cost me anything to then replicate that software, right? So if I got together for open source, we all got together, we wrote some code. We got paid for that code. Then we gave that code free to the community. And then you could do variations on it as long as you gave us credit for it, right?
Absolutely.
Then the business community said, that's crazy. Once I want to buy every copy of that software should be sold at the same amount as the original software costs, even though it doesn't cost you anymore to make that second, third, or millionth copy, right? That was the Microsoft model. So in there was the open source versus the the corporate source software. So that was the big but. And for us coming from academia, we were saying that as academics, we should be able to have the most impact on society at the lowest cost.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no scarcity in digits. There's no scarcity in ones or zeros.
I agree.
So Microsoft and companies like that, not just singling them out, created scarcity, right? They created the scarcity that by putting a price tag on it, only a certain amount of people can get it, and having a computer became a status symbol, right? Apple mastered that status symbol.
massive.
Absolutely.
Still to this day.
Still to this day, it's a fashion statement to have an iPad
or iPad. Wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
iPad,
iPhone,
anything
iWatch,
right?
iTV,
Yeah, all of that, right?
iBrain.
iShoe.
And that is a social construct.
Yeah.
There's no more value
Absolutely.
in having one or the other, except for the branding
It's
attached
pure
to
marketing.
it. It's
Yes.
pure marketing, right?
pure marketing.
So for us,
But they created a community around it. It's its own culture.
always circles back
it's
to
a
that, right?
subculture
Yeah. It's a
of
subculture.
geekdom, or it's a subculture of
that-
fashion now.
to say that
it's
I'm a
literally
cool kid-
subculture of fashion.
I would argue against it being a subculture at all. I think it's risen.
dominant
It's the
culture.
dominant culture.
Well,
now.
I mean, yeah, fine. It's a
The
dominant
same.
culture, but it's a culture of it's part of fashion.
Yeah.
Right.
It's part of geekdom. It's this. I would say it's a subculture of a lot of things.
That's created scarcity because you can only get a certain number of phones at a
Absolutely.
certain time.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have the latest and greatest one, then you're out. And this is something that has been around forever, right? For a
agree.
very, very long time. So what we have done, I think, is now democratize that commerce environment. We have taken that through Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and crowdsource funding and saying, no, we're not going to let you dictate what we're going to buy. If somebody brings a product to market, we are then going to say, we want this product and we're willing to fund it. I now don't have to go to a bank and beg them to fund my product based upon some banker's idea of whether or not it's going to be successful.
Yes, I
right?
agree.
The market now dictates that. And that's a very libertarian idea of a free market of people going into a market, deciding what that value of that product is, and then paying for it directly, which we've never been able to do
being
before.
said,
Yeah.
there are negatives to crowdsourcing. And it's
Sure.
not that it's just not fulfilled, it's just that sometimes the mob doesn't know what's right. And the perfect
well, that's why mob mentality is
the
a
perfect
term.
example of that, when it doesn't work out right, where it works but it really doesn't work, is the Ouya. The video game system everybody got this big hype about. It was going to be awesome. It was going to revolutionize video games, and it came out and it was just this humongous letdown of I mean, first they didn't fulfill. It was hard for them to fulfill the Kickstarter. But they did.
So you had people that place unrealistic goals for themselves, right?
Well,
so
it wasn't unrealistic. It's the mob that just thought it was going to be
something that it wasn't.
something it wasn't.
So
But
my
they
point
funded
being,
for $8 million. It's one of
but
the
did they
biggest
go to
Kickstarters.
the Consumer Electronics
Yes.
show to see it, right? Did they go to conventions where it was marketed at, right? Because thanks to like IGN and
Game trailers.
and stuff like that, you can see firsthand, is this hype or is there something behind that hype? Because there's a lot of hype around stuff. There's a lot of marketing push to get something out or for people to scam you for money. But now you can see firsthand thanks to YouTube and other venues and outlets like what you're doing right here, like the Rack, that you can bring a product onto the market. You could place it. You can say, this is what it is. Independent reviewers, nobody's paying you to say that this is a good product, right? You can look at it and say, Ouya, maybe there's nothing there. Because I know Leo Laporte and Tech TV did a thing about it, and they're like, this is way overhyped. It's not, I mean, they listed all the problems with people like that were doing stuff. Because the same thing, they had the Roku box was out, that was competing with Netflix, and there was a couple of other streaming media sources, and the one guy who had you didn't buy a product, you rented an antenna to get the source. So people were going around this clumsy, slow, monopoly capitalistic market, and they were innovating, and capitalism wants to create monopoly, so it suppressed that innovation, right? Yeah. So the same thing you had in that type of market with those products that we as consumers have to be beware, right? That goes back to Roman times.
But as the mob, once you see people jumping on board, you sort of.
But you have to, you have to make your own due diligence.
What I'm saying is, $8 million is a lot of people jumping on board.
Because Lucas was one of those guys. He has an Ouya.
I haven't. And
does it work to what you thought it was going to be?
Well, it doesn't live up to the hype. It doesn't live up to what everybody said it was going to. Even the reviews. There was a lot of reviews that says this is going to be amazing. You could do all this stuff with it.
And it didn't.
So the great thing about the Ouya is that it was a bunch of open source people, but they didn't know how to make a console. They knew how to make software.
Right.
Software is great. Their controller was clunky. There wasn't a thought
now
into it.
Now from that stumble and from that failure,
it was a bad engineering on the controller. Now, does the Ouya work with an Xbox controller and a PlayStation controller? Yes. And it works perfectly. It's but that you're now leaning on another corporation to make a piece of hardware.
No. You invested in a product.
Absolutely.
On Kickstarter.
Yes.
And they delivered that product to you.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't a Kickstarter person. I bought it at a GameStop.
Okay.
After it was funded, I was one of the...
He still supported the company.
Within the first week.
Within
the first week of it coming out, I bought it.
So my point being, there are people that invested in the Veronica Mars movie. Mm-hmm. Right, they got what they paid for, a Veronica Mars movie. Then they took it to the theaters, and it wasn't a big success because the people that were already interested in seeing
saw it and
funded it.
I agree.
Right, so there's no foul in fair play. If I say that I want to do this movie, I did the movie. If it doesn't reach your expectation, that doesn't make it.
I don't feel
failure.
As a consumer, I was gypped. I actually enjoy this little box I can take. It's just it wasn't. They made it seem like it was going to be your one and only great console. It was that idea that this was going to be the end all, be all of these like the Xbox, and it's going to sort of replace them.
Two great moments in hype. One, blue screen of death on Windows when Bill Gates was doing the demo.
Absolutely.
And not being able to get a signal on the iPhone in the demo for Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Right? So you can say that those products didn't live up to their hype expectations, but people still went out and funded them and bought them. Right?
And I agree. I think what the difference is that the Ouya didn't need to work as hard because they already had the money. Now, if you're a corporation, you have to earn back your investment. They already had their investment. Does that make sense?
I don't think so.
They're just like,
I don't think so.
Because if you are a consumer in it, you've already bought into the product. You're not getting your money back, so I can make a shitty product. There's this idea out there that says
wait.
I can make whatever I can do. I can do the best I can, but I only have a year to do it. And then they have the Xbox where they're going to perfect it because they spent money.
You think the Xbox is perfect?
Or they're at least going to perfect it enough that it can go out to the consumer.
Exactly, and then they're going to because they have to make
right.
they have an investment in it where Ouya didn't have an investment. They didn't have an investment.
So again, that goes back to my
not the corporation.
my consumer beware. Did I see a review of an electronics show? Right? Did
They
I
said
go
it was
out?
great.
Did I go to a convention and did I play it? So whoever reviewed it.
They said it was great.
If they said it was great and it wasn't, do you then go back and trust that reviewer? Then you look at other products they're reviewing. Are they getting ads from these people?
I agree. Now,
you know what I'm saying?
like I said, I personally like the Ouya.
Because if you did your due diligence and you went out and you said, look, I did all the reviews, I saw people do hands-on.
Actually, I bought it because I was a reviewer, so let's just...
Okay, so you reviewed it and
I was one of the reviewers.
And it wasn't... And I'm not going to believe what the website says on the marketing. I'm going to go to a third-party independent source like Consumer Reports or something like that, right? Whoever that IGN or whoever the game people are.
Unbiased opinion.
The unbiased opinion. opinion, right? Or someone like you, I'm going to go to you and I'm going to say, now he got the product, he reviewed it. The company says it does 1, 2, and 3. Then you says no, it does 1, it does 2, but it doesn't
But it does
do
actually
3.
4, which was really great about the Ouya. There's this idea that
but if you replace
they
the
market it
controllers
one
that you already
something,
have,
they marketed it as one something, but when I got it, I realized what I could use it for. And they didn't market this one idea. Like the really great thing about it is it's the size of a Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
And I can take it over almost anybody's house as long as they have a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. I can hook it up, and it's great for communal party games.
Okay.
I can take it anywhere I want. There's not much you have to plug into it. There's not much you need for it.
Right.
You need a TV screen and a bunch of controllers.
So it's about the size of a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah,
it's small.
It's great. So I
Tiny.
can take it to conventions if I'm out, if we go as the Rack Show go to a convention, I can plug it into the hotel TV and we can
So
play
you
four
get
players.
your value out of it.
I do get my value out, but they didn't market it that way. They didn't they didn't educate the consumer saying, you know what this is really good for. You know what I mean? They said this is really good for this,
So how
but
do
it was
you-
really good for
Well,
that.
that's the
Right.
sense
So
of independent marketing. These people didn't know how to come at it from that angle.
And
They
I
didn't know how
don't
to.
think they knew what they
So
had.
you're a much better reviewer than the people who got it, who reviewed it before it
Well,
launched.
I appreciate that.
Right? Because you now are, I mean, somebody that's paid to review something is going to give a much different review than somebody like you who's not paid to review
Yes.
it.
Absolutely.
And you as a gamer also will see things as somebody who has to do it for a living because this is the only job they had because they came from some other department in the company, right?
Now-
So how do you feel about the Steam box?
I'm
product.
probably the guy that will get the Steam box
very excited
also.
about it.
I have the probably biggest library that I know of personally of all my friends. I have about 500 games now.
Now, how many have you played?
I've played 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Like 5. I played like 5.
Anyway,
In what genre?
All genres. I like a lot of different things.
Okay. And you have 500 games.
I
and
don't
you
like
only
horror
play-
games
Okay.
most of the time.
which we're playing 7 Days to Die though.
But
That's not a
almost-
horror game.
Zombie
That's
survival
That's
game.
not zombie survival. Like I'm thinking horror, like Five
it
Nights
Dead
at
Island or something
Freddy's
like that?
or Silent
Dead
Hill.
Think of like Minecraft, but with a zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
It's really good.
It's a very
We played
builder.
as a group.
I mean,
Yeah.
most first-person shooters have a zombie mod to it. Like Call of Duty has a zombie mod
Yep.
to it. I mean, most games have a. Yeah.
No, this was designed around that you are pretty much naked and you sort of have to survive zombies. And so the apocalypse.
You have to find food. You have to find weapons.
and
you have to find
it's a
shelter.
persistent game. Like even when you log
It's a
out,
persistent universe.
It's still going. Yeah.
it's still
Creating-
going.
So it's like an MMO for survivalists.
Yes,
Yes,
we have
absolutely.
to find each other. We have to make weapons. We have
You
to
don't have
make
maps,
a
so
base.
you have to kind of like be like, I'm here. Do you know where here is? Okay, well,
We
I
dig
know that I
holes
can
in
get
grounds and
here.
live in them.
Yeah.
So with your
the bunkers.
Ouya box, will it hold the Steam software so you could
No,
use
because
Steam
Steam
library?
the Steam OS is so powerful. It's more powerful than the actual
Then this
consoles
process.
that are out.
Okay.
At least
I
that's how
know they're
understood.
custom making like different.
Like I believe the
Manufacturers are
entry
making
Steam
their own-
console is about $400 or $500, and that's the low end model. And
look-
the mid range is like $700 to $800.
You know how people pay for their boutique gaming computers?
Absolutely.
They pay up to $5,000 for like a game. Oh, okay.
I have all the
so
systems.
So
I
I'm
can
saying
change that.
relative.
I just rehold my computer too.
Yeah. So on a relative scale, when you
Absolutely.
talk about what you're paying for, and if you have a library of 500 games,
And it makes sense for me to get a Steam
Yeah.
box.
you know, why would I go buy an Xbox or Xbox 360 or an Xbox One when I have a catalog built in?
But I also have the Xbox 360 and the
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
3.
So let's say somebody is younger than you and they
Yeah.
have a limited budget.
Absolutely.
And this is their first gateway drug into video gaming.
Xbox 360.
So they
Yeah.
got their
It's a good start.
they got their dad's hand-me-down computer.
Absolutely.
Mom and dad buying gifts on the computer through the Steam store, right? So now you have a catalog of games. Now you say, I'm going to go to a dedicated console because now this is going to college with me and I need to put Word and Office and all that stuff on it, right? Would you recommend the Xbox console or would you recommend
Xbox
the Steam?
console.
The
Xbox.
Steam.
The reason
Yeah.
why it has an established community, it has games that are great price. When
Established
college,
brand
you don't got that money.
recognition.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you
Are you
know
buying the
it's
brand
gonna
or are you
work.
buying it to play games? Because
Well-
that was your complaint about Ouya.
No,
That depends.
I don't know about him with the brand. It has, my friends are on Xbox 360, and that's came down. Will has the same thing.
So the
You gotta
social
look-
element draws you into the
exactly.
360.
You
There's
gotta
more
look
people on it.
where your friends were at.
Okay, yeah.
And we all sort of made a decision, like, where are we going to get the new PlayStation or are we going to get the new Xbox One?
Right.
And we all sort of decided we probably are going to get the Xbox One. We know Jomar has it, wherever
Right.
Jomar is.
So again,
That was the idea because I want to be able to play with my friends.
yeah, just like the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League, it's people getting together and deciding that we're going to play this board game.
the same
we're going to play this
thing.
miniature
Yeah.
game. You guys did the same exact thing.
We do it
only
with
the
board games though
consoles,
too. And
Yep.
I just usually the ones buying it.
Right? Yeah. Well, some people have, where you're at financially. Whether
like-
you pool your money to
but-
get something or whether you can pay for everybody to come and play.
Will just bought a new game. I think Jomar bought a
Zombicide.
couple. So we all we have we probably
They had a lot of.
We probably over
It's
have
ordered. We haven't
$1,500
touched
in
it yet.
games. All the three of us probably have about. No, you have a lot of games.
A few, yeah.
So we have about $1,500 in probably board games.
Board games, yeah.
Which is not a lot considering you do miniatures. Miniatures are ridiculous.
We don't truck with miniatures. Not
No.
that we don't do it. We
No,
just don't.
I have
know.
some.
We
I
just
have
don't do
Mage
stuff
Knight,
with it.
the old Mage Knight.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I have some Warhammer.
The advent of miniature gaming has led me into a new business venture. There is a product that I'm going to bring to the market for gaming that I think is needed, and I've been going to conventions. It's called the Tabletopper Mini War Room. So what it does is that it allows you to play your games in a defined space. So let's say you live in a small apartment. You can take this out of the box, put it on the table, play your game.
Very cool.
It has three elements. It has a game arena. It has a dice pit, so when you roll your dice, you're not interacting with your miniatures or
It's not messing up your setup.
It's not messing up your setup. And then you have a card rack, so that's where all your cards go. If you have playing cards, they go with your game.
Can you send this to the producer so we can put it on?
Yeah, we can put it up on our website.
You, the viewers, will be able to
right here,
see this
edited
product. So I just got it copyrighted, trademarked, and patented. So I was waiting for the patent to come in. That's why I didn't talk about last November.
How big is
Yeah.
this?
The
size of this?
The
like
start table is a 30. The play area is 36 by 36. The entire table is 48 by 48. We have another table that has a 48 by 48 play area, and that accommodates even the largest skirmish games. So you can even play like a combat patrol of Warhammer on it, which are normally played on a 4 by 8 foot table, which most people don't have the room in their apartments or houses for, right? To dedicate that kind of space for it. It weighs about 3 pounds. It weighs less than 5 pounds. It's ready to play you take it out of the box, you put it on your table,
You're good
throw
to
your
go.
games on it, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And that's something I haven't seen. Most other products in the table, if you do something like a Geek Chic table, they start at $2,000-$3,000 and then work their way up to $15,000.
Yeah.
This you'll be able to get for under that.
Very cool.
So this is a product for a couple $100.
Where can you find out? Do you have a website?
Yeah, we're creating it right now. Like I said, I just have to wait for the patent and the copyright and trademark to come
Let us
in.
know.
Yeah,
we'll make sure we
plug
post
that.
Yeah, so this is something that I think that as that it's a product that's not out. It's a product that I needed and couldn't find, so I just created it, right? And this is something that we as creative people, that as geeks and nerds, we do that constantly, right? We're constantly innovating. We're bringing new things to market, and I think the economy around this, the dollars that we're moving in movies, in how we watch TV and what we consume, what we wear, big money is being put into trying to lure us into it, so we have to be more diligent about what we invest in, right? We have to be conscious to share, this is a good product, this is not a good product, and I think that we trust our social networks more than we trust corporate spokespeople or marketing.
Absolutely, because
hype.
the motivation behind them. I mean, the people that we are friends with online, or the people that have the same interest in us, they don't want to be responsible for pushing a bad product on us, because they'll be like, well, that person isn't someone that I want.
You can
myself
ruin
with.
it immediately.
Yeah, that person is not somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Right.
Why would I want to have anything to do with them? As opposed to corporations, I mean, they're looking to make money. That's their end all be all. Is they want to put out a product and they want to make profit from that product.
Right, and so that the profit motive becomes becomes the mover, rather than this is a niche and I'm going to fill it, right?
Yes.
I'm going to create I have this thing, now I got to find a way to get you to buy it even though you don't want it. Whereas what is it that you need and how do I get it to you, right? That's a very turn of the century old school model of bringing up a product to market. You build a better mousetrap, right? But this new corporate model of American capitalism is, I'm going to squash anybody that compete with me, so I have a monopoly, and now you have to buy it from me.
I don't know if that's the new. That's
Yeah.
sort of like the 80s and 90s idea, I think. I really do.
The Wolf of Wall Street. I mean,
I think the new idea, with the exception of your huge corporations, but you have these small
that are huge monoliths of Goliath.
Yeah, you have your Microsoft, you have your EA games, you have your Apple computers,
Right.
you have even I don't even know if IBM could be considered in there.
Nuts.
But you have these monoliths, but there's these small little gaming boutiques that are making great games, like
they adapt swiftly to a market change that the big companies are unable to do. Like
the guys that did
experienced that.
Titanfall. I mean, that was a small little group of
company.
And they did a great game.
Right.
And
And so that's possible. So it's possible for a small group of people to get together, to be agile, to adapt to the needs in the market. That the big companies, by the time it goes up through all the hierarchy, everybody's pissed on it and changed it to where it's unrecognizable.
Absolutely. Now, do you plan on kickstarting that?
I do plan on Kickstarter. I've made the initial investment. I'm able to make it. I'm able to get the materials, make it, produce it. The shipping cost is really like crazy right now. I don't know. So I'm trying to nail that down because I'm trying to keep the cost down so I can get it to most people as possible. So I'm trying to make this a very utilitarian device. Yeah. It's not a lot of bells and whistles, but one thing that I am offering on it is like the people who help Kickstart it, they can put a custom logo on it. So if your company has a logo or your game club has a logo, we'll print that directly onto the surface of it. So yours will be different from everybody else's. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say something, and now I forget. That would be really great for just board gaming, not just even war gaming.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's
D&D.
Yeah, multiple purposes.
Multiple purposes,
Absolutely.
right? Because I needed it. It's something I needed as somebody that's a geek and a nerd, and needed this for when I'm doing RPGs.
I would say the major draw of this is that it seems like it's so much more affordable than the other options that are out there.
Absolutely.
Look, I went to Geek Chic site and my jaw hit the ground.
$9,000 for a gaming table,
and you have to wait a year.
Yeah.
We were talking about actually building our own, which my house is not big enough for the table I want to build.
There's the problem.
That's the big problem.
So you get this in the box. You can put it under your bed.
Right? No, this can go on your coffee table.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And the material that's made out of is high impact automotive foam, so it doesn't scratch.
Really?
It feels like skin when you touch it. It warms when you put your hands on it, so it feels good to the touch. It's not abrasive hard plastic. You can set it on any surface and it won't scratch it. Like if you buy stuff from Gil's Workshop and place like that, they have hard plastic and it'll scratch the enamel on your surface. So if your wife wants her dining room table, it stays her dining room table because you can take it off and store it underneath your couch, store it underneath your bed, or if you have a dedicated gaming space, it can stay there. Let's say you are a Warhammer guy and you are playing this for smaller, family games. You want to play Warhammer, take it off your Warhammer table, throw it on the ground. Now your kids can play with it. They can put all their Legos and stuff in it.
When you're ready to take it to market, we'd love to bring it in here.
Okay.
We'd love to
check
play
it
test
out.
this bad boy.
Yeah. So we got 3 or 4 prototypes. The first one I did was I made it out of cardboard. But the thing about making it out of corrugated cardboard, it cuts the hell out of your hand. You get some serious paper cuts.
Oh wow.
So even though it was lightweight, it was sturdy and durable enough. The paper cut
it hurt you, which is bad for a product. You shouldn't have that.
So that went to the side, but it was a good proof of concept because I was able to refine, the dice pit and the card rack and the gaming area and to play test with it. Yeah. So being able to bring this to market as a fellow geek, to be able to say, look, here's something that we all can use. This is something for all of us. Whether you're RPGing, whether you're board gaming, or whether you're miniature gaming, those 3 markets you could go to it. And then, like I said, if you're a young family starting off with kids and you want to just keep their Legos in a confined area, drop it on the ground.
No, I think it's going to be a great product. Let us know so we can help you push that.
Yeah, thanks.
We would love to.
And it's made right here in Detroit. That's another thing.
That's awesome.
I'm not making it in China. I'm employing. Another benefit to this is that I can say, send your blueprints to China. Don't make it for cheap. Make it for cheap. I'm like, well, how can I make it here? Employ people here. Get people here back to work.
Absolutely.
So it becomes a made in Detroit, opportunity for us to show that just because the auto industry has tried to run to China, that we can't run to China. We have to employ our own. We have to keep, our eyes focused on we can think globally, but we have to act locally.
Yeah.
So what can I do locally to help stimulate the economy here and have fun at the same time?
So you're flipping it on its head. Everyone's like, okay, going to outsource the actual product and then we're going to sell it here. No, you're making it here for the world.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's really
Import
cool.
it from Detroit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You have plans to take it to any of the gaming conventions?
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. So I just came back from Adepticon, which was 3 of the most fascinating days.
I see Adepticon.
Yeah, you got a little badger.
Adepticon
Where's
was
that at?
incredible. That was in Schaumburg, Illinois, just outside of Chicago.
Cool.
It was Malifaux, Bolt Action, Deep Wars. I got the demo.
All miniature games?
All miniatures gaming.
Is that what this
Star Wars
convention
Armada.
focuses on? Or?
Yeah, it focuses on miniature gaming,
Okay.
and then all the new products that are being brought up. So this laser cut MDF. All these new products for houses and miniatures, terrain and stuff is all there. There were workshops on how to paint your miniatures, how to make terrain. All that was going on there.
I think we have like 5 minutes left, right?
I have no idea how long we have.
We have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
I have a question I have to ask
Sure.
you. With the advent of 3D printing,
Yeah.
and these maker spaces, have that changed the landscape of miniature gaming?
I think we're right at the cusp of that, right?
Okay.
I think that a lot of people are doing their prototypes in the 3D printing area, but to mass produce it, you have to go to traditional either white metal or plastic sprues because of the volume that you have to do. Because the 3D printing is just not there for volume yet.
Yeah.
But if you want a one-off or something like that, 3D printing has revolutionized it.
Have you seen the you know what Thingiverse is?
Yeah, Thingiverse. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Shapeways too.
They have a open source miniature game that you can print out.
Oh, really?
And now they have factions, so you have the steampunk guys. I think it started off with like a fantasy based thing.
Yeah.
And you have like these little hexes that you print out. And they have different, like, whether it's water or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you put the hexes together and you can print
Like HeroScape.
Yeah.
Okay, 3D printing put HeroScape out of business. Because
Really?
people were printing their own hexes, right? So you can go to...
I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, so for 45 cents, you can go buy a HeroClix figure, or a box of HeroClix figures for $25. Then you can play HeroScape with those miniatures, and you can 3D print your own
Hexes.
Absolutely. Right, so that's one way that it's already changed the industry. But I think for people like that do RPGs or D&D or Pathfinder, printing your own custom character, and you are the only one with that,
There's
with a
some
3D
great companies
printer.
that do that already.
Yeah.
They take your picture and they make you whatever you want. Or
Now you
drawing.
can go to where you used to buy your computers at, right? And you can get a 3D printer. So if you can learn
Micro Center has one.
Yeah, download the files that you want and just tinker with them a little bit, or if you can learn
Have a hackerspace I'm part of.
Yeah, how to make your models. You can 3D print all day long, and you then become your own manufacturing. So you want to print for your friends, you say it's the material plus cost, or if you make something unique and other people like it and they want it, boom, it's there. So just for the cost of getting that filament in, you can then print your own products and then sell those products to other people because they're unique. There's your invention. So you become your own factory by having a 3D printer. I think that's going to revolutionize it.
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for it to come down a little bit more because I think I want one.
Well, just like a computer, right? When I bought my first computer, it was
She's the one at
$2,500.
i3,
Yeah, because I want my own.
Yeah, you want your own.
I mean, I just want my own.
I guess.
And that's going to be the demand. I mean, once the price hits a certain sweet
They're about
spot,
$700 now. A good one's about $1,000, $1,200. But if it comes down a little bit more,
and they have ones where you can make them yourselves. Like you buy the parts
it's
and you
about
put them together.
$500 to $700.
Yeah.
The one at i3,
Depends on
i3
how handy you
Hackerspace.
are.
Are you familiar with
Yeah.
i3
Yeah.
Hacker? I'm a member there. Our original one was is a built one. They laser cut it out or whatever,
Right.
it was, and they built it, and it works great most of the time. So
Right, or you can get a MakerBot. I mean, one of the brand name ones.
I think I want a maker.
Yeah, because you get that security of knowing that this has already been tested and you get new software to upgrade it. But the technology is moving ahead so quickly, and the refining heads are becoming so much better. I mean, I just look at like 2 years ago what they look like. Now you can get them without. There's no ridges on them.
Yeah,
before they used to come with the ridges. Now
because we have it
2
now.
microns or something crazy
It's a
like that?
resin. It's just this liquid. It's a liquid you pour in this thing, and it comes down. And
Reduction.
It prints it upside down using a laser.
Oh, to cut away at the.
No, it doesn't
resin?
cut. It heats it up, and the liquid becomes solid.
Gotcha.
And it's stuck to this plate. When you lift it up, it's backwards.
In reverse. How cool is that?
And we use it, and so it takes longer, but we have this it looks like a rook from a chess set, and it's clear. The plastic we're using is clear. You can get it in different colors, but it's clear. And you can you look in this rook, and it's about this tall, and you can see each and every step as a spiral going up into the rook, because there's inside, which 3D printers just can't do well.
Right.
This one can. It has a staircase inside of the rook
out.
going
That's
up, and you can
really cool.
see each and every. The stairs have to be like a millimeter, if that.
Yeah, so imagine D&D
It's completely
terrain.
perfect.
Yeah.
You want a ruined castle that you're going through? You want a dungeon room with pillars or a chunk of little treasure coins there or barrels or crates? Boom, you 3D print the room and it's ready for your game that night.
I like
Now, how
it. I'm
revolutionary is
excited.
that?
I mean,
On
it's
demand,
insane.
on demand gaming.
We're in a new era now where we can just print out objects.
Now you can make a game. You can print your pieces for the game. So you can have a one-off game that just you and your friends have come up with and play, and now you print the miniatures that you need.
If you go into Thingiverse, they have all kinds of games you can print out and play now.
That's revolutionary in itself.
And as I was saying, there's that little miniature games that's sort of like Hero Clicks or HeroScape.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to print it out. It's one of my first projects that I want to do.
Okay.
But I want to say thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been awesome.
This has been a really
This
good
is a great conversation about gaming and
not that we expected anything less, but
so we went gaming, social implications of gaming, the effects of communities, the effects of nerddom and geekdom on the greater social community.
I think we managed to cover a lot. Is there anything else you want to add? Well, is there a place they can find more information on the Detroit Tabletop Gaming League?
Detroit Tabletop Gaming League on Facebook. It will be Gaddis Gaming. The mini war room will be the product. So
Gaddies spelled Gaddies. That's why we thought it was Gaddies.
Yeah, it's Gaddis, and to differentiate me from the product, it will be IS, which is the proper Scottish spelling of it. We've Americanized it when we were here. But so what we're going to do is we're going to launch that product probably mid-April. We'll have a Kickstarter up, and I'll be happy to bring it back. And
yeah,
we can
great.
demo it right
Come
here.
back and talk to us.
And maybe we can do a battle report where we can use it. We can put it down, throw some games on it, and put it through its paces with everybody.
Awesome. Well, we'll be glad to play a test.
Absolutely.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I look forward to being back. You guys are doing a great show, and I love the energy that you guys bring to this whole genre. I love it.
Thank you.
All right. But Lee Gaddies, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. You want to take us out to that camera?
Yeah, this camera right here. All right. You've watched season.
Oh, no.
Sorry, we got to do this too. Just give everybody a heads up. Geek Fan Expo 2015. We want it to be a thing. We want you guys to help us make it a thing. So do us a favor. Help make it a thing.
You can go to geekfanexpo.com. That's GeekFanExpo.com. Check out their website. They have a Kickstarter too. Tweet them at geekfanexpo on Twitter. Like I said, it's July 10th, 11th, 12th, 2015.
And if you want to talk about it to your friends, hashtag #IamGFX down here.
I am GFX. We'll be doing our videos. You'll be receiving those this week being released. So we look forward to seeing you at the conventions.
Yes.
Once again, we'll be at Midwest Media Expo here in April on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
If you see us there, come up and hang out and talk to us.
Come play games with us.
Absolutely.
We're all about it.
Excuse me. What else do we have to do? This is episode 1.
Episode 1 of season 3. So
we
made it. We did it in no small part thanks to Lee. Again, thank you very much. The discourse between us has been great.
Yeah, I love it.
It's been awesome, and we need you to come back with that gaming table product. It's awesome.
Yep.
But for Lee, for Lucas, I'm Conrad. You've seen episode 1, season 3 of The Rack Show, which you can find on VoxVii, VoxVii.com, here at the Phoenix Cafe in Hazel Park. Thank you so much for watching and listening, or however you're taking this in. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace, guys.
Je ne sais quoi, bye.
Oh, I forgot to do that! Oh my god! You should go check out Geek Fan Expo. It's like this convention. I am Geek Fan Expo?
I am GFX.
I am GFX. And I think you have to put a tic-tac-toe sign in front of it if you're using Twitter, so.
Hashtag.
I'm gonna go finish it.
Rack Show crew. Oh my god! Hey, we're the VoxVii crew, which you can find on VoxVii.com. And I am GFX!
No. Show 'em, are you?